Hi, this is Scott Soretta, also known as Soretta on Reef Central, and this is the Artsy Cube. Today I'm going to give you a small little introduction to the Aqua Illumination lighting system. And I've also been working on this tank, putting in the corals, getting placement on that ring. This tank is called the Artsy Cube, and it was built for a piece of art. The design concept behind it was to create a cube tank, so it's a 14-inch cube, and combining some geometric shapes, so using rectangles, squares, and then offsetting circles. I actually built this originally with the use of an orb, a Solana orb lighting system, and over the top you had that nice stainless steel or brushed steel round, which gave another accent to highlight the round ring that was used. The glass was also Starfire glass. And as we can see, here's some of the corals here. And I still have a couple more corals to place. The idea is on the column, I'm going to use 4 plating corals, or encrusting corals, I should say. So over here is a Platygyra. And then I'm missing a coral right there. I haven't quite decided what I want. I'd like to find another Platygyra. The colors are not the best at the moment just because of the lighting with the camera. But as you can see, the ring is offset. It's a complete circle, and it's tilted at an angle. The column in the middle is square, but it's tilted at different angles to the tank. So as you can see, the corner of the tank here, and then the column in the middle actually has the square face is facing this corner here. So I just did a little play with shapes, geometric shapes. And the back of the tank is where the brains are. You can also tell there's no overhanging wires. That was part of the design. I wanted everything routed and completely hidden. So what we see, and I still have, this is at the office, and the stand is just a filing cabinet. I still have a cylinder stand, which will also be a work of art. In the works, I'm still having that constructed. Okay, so the sump has a removable lid. Compliments of Mark. Mark built that for me. All right. And I also had, and this project was also, I used a lot of resources on RC. A lot of this equipment was helped, like Mark helped me with building that lid, and then Stevie T built the in-tank skimmer cup for the Tunzi skimmer in there. And the brains of the operation is this standpipe. All the electricity and all the power cords, pH probes, everything go in and out through that standpipe. Goes down through the bottom of the tank, and then it comes out, and then all the electricity goes. Once I build the cylinder stand, everything will be inside the stand, completely hidden. Again, you will see no wires. That was the design idea. Here I'm using an Aqua Controller 2 with a DC-8 module. Here's the Aqua Illumination box. The lighting looks off. That's the controller for the light. It uses a small 1/8 connector, a basic stereo cord type connector. And then I'm also using the brand new Tunzi 7096 controller, and I'm getting wave action in this tank, as you can see here. Okay. However, this demonstration is really to highlight the Aqua Illumination lighting. I did want to show the tank just so that you get a basic sense for it. I'm also using 2 Tunzi 6055 electronic pumps running off that 7096 controller. It's that 12-volt pump where you can change the voltage to get flow anywhere from, I think it's like 300 gallons per hour up to about 1200 gallons per hour through each pump. Okay, so the Aqua Illumination light over on this side is where the connectors are located. And this light system is set up and designed as a module system. I'm using one module for this small little 14-inch cube tank, but you can build on and use daisy chaining. So the power connector is this pin here. And if you were to have a second unit, you would daisy chain from this port, which is the same as this one, over to the other unit. The data cable is what goes to the box, the control box, I should say. And if you had another unit, you would daisy chain from this data port over to the other unit. This sensor here is actually a sensor that comes with the 7096 Tunzi. So as it senses nighttime, it turns the wave action off. Okay, the Aqua Illumination is a fairly lightweight unit. It probably weighs about 3 pounds. It's built well. It's a solid casing. And on the top are 2 fans with the aluminum heatsink. I can tell you right now that the fans operate, and I really don't know why, because the unit doesn't seem to produce hardly any detectable heat at all. It's extremely low in heat, and when I put my hand underneath, I don't feel any heat coming from the LED lights at all. When I place my hand on top of the heat sinks, I feel no heat at all. It's a nice, cool unit. No heat production. So it's nice to have the fans there, and I guess it is, well, it's actually just blowing on the heat sink, as you can see. It's not actually connected to the board, which would be underneath. As you can see, it's just blowing out the heat sink. I would take it that the LED, or a part of the electricity inside, is fastened to that heat sink, but again, it feels nice and cool. A great advantage of LED systems. And I'm using the pendant type of hanging, not the rack system. And as you can see, I'm using the cable here, and then it's coming up, and I just have it laced over this pole at the moment. I still have some work to do there. Okay, so what you're looking at, this lighting is set with day mode right now, and I have 100% power on blue and 35% power on white. This gives me a very similar look to when I had the Solana 150 watt HQI with the SunPack power ballast, and I had the last bulb I was using, Phoenix 14K is my favorite bulb. I, in this case, wanted to experiment and play. I was using the Giesman 20K. The Giesman 20K and the Phoenix 14K looked very similar, but I do give a little nod to the 14K Phoenix, mostly because of cost in that issue, because the light looks similar in both. Okay, one of the things that you can notice right off is LED produces shimmer, actually quite a bit of shimmer. When I first used it and when I wasn't in wave mode, you could really see that shimmer. It looked just as much shimmer or more than when I had the halide system. It also does a great job of reproducing good coral colors. You get pop out of the corals, and you also get glow, or what is I also call fluorescence. And I will be writing a review of this light describing some of those terms. I like to describe pop as being like a HD TV versus standard definition TV. Pop is that extra vibrant clarity that really radiates from the coral itself. It really has that defined look like an HD TV does. And when I talk about fluorescence or glow, what I'm talking about is how the color comes out of the coral, the glowing of the color. The best way to describe or give you an idea of the glow is when you run true actinic VHO bulbs. Most of you guys have probably tried that at one point. And you know those fluorescent, ultra bright, glowy colors that come out of coral? That's what I'm talking about, glow or fluorescence. So the LED system as a whole, I think, does a really good job of getting pop and glow out of the corals. And the biggest advantage to using LED is your ability to control. And I will be describing this a little bit. One thing you can't do with halides is control it. You turn it on, you turn it off. You can't even dim it. Some other systems are dimmable. Mostly T5s have a dimmable system, but they don't match the dimming capabilities and features of LED. It's one of the real advantages of having LED.